So, good morning, Melbourne. My name's James Snow. I'm all for max velocity, and I can tell you the way that this always goes. We have a demo, we talk about how we can work together, and more than 3/4 of the room is like, that's great for people who are making surfboards or working in retail, but I work in a regulated industry, I work for a bank, I work in healthcare, I work for a government agency. This is never going to fly from a security perspective. How many of you came here today to learn about Google's secrets? I get to be the guy who gets to share some of them with you. So I want to talk a little bit about what makes Google different. So let's start with data centers. Now, the data centers that Google operates are different from the ones that you can go out and build yourselves or rent from competitors. Everything that you see in this picture here is custom made for and by Google. What does that mean? On any given day of the year, we're the world's third or fourth largest manufacturer of servers in the world. We make everything from the chipsets, to the servers themselves, to the proprietary operating systems, to the OS that runs on top of them. Now, what does that mean from a security perspective? It means that we don't have third-party vulnerabilities. We don't have Patch Tuesday problems at Google. Our equipment is not commercially available. It's very hard to reverse engineer what we do in Google. But that's really just the start. We were born in the cloud, and being born in the cloud means that the cloud is in fact a network. So not only do we make all of our own servers, we also manufacture all of our own networking equipment. This is switches, routers, and not just the hardware, communications protocols. If you were to try and break into our Google network, your gear would not speak the same language as ours, and we have different protocols across different data centers. Now, what is a cloud but part of the network? So let's talk about our network. And this is where it starts getting really interesting. Now, it doesn't matter how you measure our network. We operate the largest global IP network in the world, bigger than any telecom, bigger than any government. What does that mean? That means dark and light fiber across every continent on the planet other than Antarctica, right? This also includes 13 undersea cables across the Atlantic and the Pacific. Our network is so massive, it just doesn't connect our data centers to each other, it connects our data centers to nearly every ISP in the world. Now, here in Australia, this allows us to directly peer with you as our customers. We can work with you, and you can work with your global teams in real time because of this network. And from a security perspective, your data is often most at risk when it's traveling across the internet. With Google, the way it works everywhere in the world is you go from your device to your ISP to Google's network now. And that network security is world-class. On any given day, we're handling between 25 to 38% of total internet traffic. This is our secret sauce that others simply do not have. Now, here's where we get to some of the secrets and some of the exciting parts. I want to talk to you about how we store and protect your data at Google. And what I need you to do is I need you to forget everything you might know about computer science and storage, because what we do at Google is completely different. But it's not hard to understand. The two main concepts that you're going to have to get is everything is first based on a user, on an individual, and next on an application. What does that mean? So, you as a user will have a database for all of your Gmail, your email, your attachments, everything that you use to search. And then you'll have another database for Google Drive, for your files, all your documents, all of your content. And every one of you will have something different. Now, the way that it works at Google, let's use Google Drive. I want to upload a file to Google Drive. What happens? First, every connection to Google is over an encrypted connection, and this is extraordinarily strong encryption. There's no way to have an unencrypted connection to Google. The encryption is so strong, in fact, it's stronger than most commercial-grade VPNs and even some military-grade VPNs. On top of it, also easy to test. After you've transmitted your file to Google, it gets sent to your personal database, and here's where the magic starts to happen. It gets passed to our data layer. Your database is broken first into thousands of pieces. Each piece will then go through the following process. First, algorithmic-based encryption. So we'll break it up, it'll become unrecognizable, and you can only de-encrypt it on a Google server connected to a Google network. After algorithmic-based encryption, we use key-based encryption. So this is industry standard encryption with key-based. We take that key and we encrypt it again with a wrapping key. So we encrypt it a third time and store that in our key management system. All right, that was a lot. I'm going to review. We have database, broken into thousands of pieces. Algorithm-based encryption, key-based encryption. We're going to take that key, we're going to wrap it, and we're going to store that in our key management system. We haven't even gotten to the fun part. After that, we are going to start replicating the data. We're going to start replicating it across different data centers. So let's say data center number 1. We're going to have it in different drives, different servers, different racks, different internet connectivity. Then 5 more copies, data center number 2. 5 more copies, data center number 3. 5 more copies, data center number 4. This is all happening in real time, which sounds like madness. Why would you do this? What happens when I want to get my file back? Well, when you'd like to get your file back, Google Drive goes out, it pulls every single copy of every single piece. It's a race. It's going to pull it together. It's going to de-encrypt it, de-obfuscate it, reassemble it, and present it to you as a user in real time. I'm giving you a demo of this right now. This is a computer science miracle, right? This is state-of-the-art storage and data protection. This is encryption not at the file level, not at the application level, but at the database fragment level, which is going to be superior than what else is available both on-premise and on our competitors' markets. This sort of data protection, the reason that we have all of this replication is for high availability. If there is an outage, if there is an underwater cable cut, if there is a problem in a data center, if there's a fire, a natural disaster, your screen is not going to flicker. All that information is going to be available to you all the time. The expectation is that you always have access to your data. We don't have planned downtime where on Sunday our service is unavailable between 9 to 5 because we're upgrading. Because of the way that our service is built, we can unplug entire data centers, upgrade them, and you will never notice as a consumer. This is the next level of innovation. This is the next level of data protection. So I've explained to you why we store data the way that we do. I've explained how we store data the way that we do. The next question I always get is, well, where is the data stored? And the answer is within Google's global network of data centers. Now, everything that we operate at Google is proprietary, so we're not renting space in a Telstra or your local telecom. We own and operate the whole stack. Now, remember though, where's your data? It's everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It is spread across all this and it's protected. If someone wanted to attack you as a customer or a government agency or a bank, they're not going to go and hit our data center in Singapore to bring you down, right? Or hit the one in Canberra. They're going to have to hit all of Google. This is bringing our security team, our specialization to work for you. So, James, the next question is this for all of our services, or is this for a couple of things, right? Some competitors, they have this for a couple of products. Well, I'm happy to share that we have this for all of the products that we're offering. So Gmail, calendaring, everything within Docs, Drive, any format, it's all protected this exact same way. And this is being used by customers, government agencies, banks, all across the world. So, one of the #1 concerns that I often get is I'll meet with customers and we'll talk about security. And they'll understand very quickly. They'll say, actually, I can believe that Google might have better security than what we currently have on premise. But I don't know if I trust Google, right? What are they doing with my data, right? In the PwC presentation earlier, they're like, do you really trust what's happening with Google? And the #1 misconception that I have, or I always hear from customers, is they're used to dealing with us as a consumer service, where yes, it's a free service. Yes, we're using advertising. My grandmother understands this, so this is exactly how this works. But for businesses, for schools, for governments, we operate by a completely different set of rules, right? What can we use your data for at Google? The answer is very simple. Scope of processing. If you're using our services, we can only use the data to provide the service you've requested. Nothing else. That means no advertising, no profiling, nothing. You are in complete control. Intellectual property of the data. Who owns that? Another easy answer. You do. You have all the rights to all the intellectual property, and Google has none. Last but not least, and most importantly, portability of data. What does that mean? It means if you fell in love with Google and you listen to everything that came out today and you say, I can't wait to sign up, and you move all of your information onto our cloud on Saturday, which, by the way, you could, but a week later, you decide you don't like us anymore and you want to break up. It's going to make us sad. But we're not going to penalize you. All that data can come off in compatible original formats. There's no penalty. You don't need to come and talk to Google about it. You can completely do it yourselves, right? And oftentimes with some of our platform as a service offerings, you can actually balance workloads between different cloud providers dynamically. This way, you are always in control of your data, right? It's not being tied into a 3-year agreement or being stuck on one platform. You have the ability to choose. We're always hungry for your business, and you always have the option to move or innovate in any direction you would choose as a company. All righty, so let's talk a little bit about security. So what makes it different as an enterprise customer than it is as a consumer? And this is going to boil down to our independent third-party certifications at Google. So how can I trust Google? Well, the first answer is that, well, you should actually trust but verify. And that verification is independent third-party certification. And we do this in several different levels. We have all the greatest hits. So we have security certifications from ISO 27001. We have the new cloud security standard, which is ISO 27017. FedRAMP is the standard for doing business with the US government. We have some other older standards here at the bottom, but the one I want to pay special attention to here is ISO 27018. This is the new cloud data privacy standard. This is different because first you have to show that you are secure. Gmail is secure. We meet all the security requirements. ISO 27018 is built on top. This is saying Gmail is secure, but what is that data being used for? Who has access? Are the right cryptographic controls in place? Are the right notification mechanisms in there? This is about putting personally identifiable information on public clouds, and that's independently audited by our auditor on a regular basis. A big difference between Google and other clouds is at Google, we just have one cloud. We don't have a government cloud or a healthcare cloud or an Australia cloud. We have one global cloud, so all of these certifications apply to the same platform that you're using. The same platform that Google is using, that the city of Boston is using, that Woolies is using here in Australia. We're all leveraging the same platform and have the same protections in place. Well, we are in Australia, so I thought maybe I'd talk about some specific Australian security certifications. So for those of you who are unaware of what IRAP is the security certification run by the Australian Signals Directorate that's required to do business with Australian federal government agencies. Now, this standard actually consists of certification of 3 phases. So the way that this works is phase 1 of this process is actually the most difficult. This is going through over over 900 security controls, formulating responses, working with an auditor, and then working with the agency to certify our platform against this. We've completed that stage 1 process. Currently, we're in phase 2. So we actually have our IRAP assessor over in New York City at this very minute, meeting with our product team, gathering additional feedback. We expect this to be completed, which also includes a data center visit before the end of the year, with submission to the ASD for formal certification. Now, you don't have to wait until the end of the year for this. We've spoken to the Australian Signals Directorate, and they said if you're interested in hearing what Google has done or where we are in this process, you can contact them directly. Maybe you are a state or a territorial agency that doesn't have an IRAP requirement, but it still wants to hear what the Australian government's position on our security position is. We're very happy to share that with you. So where I'd like to close is talking, kind of maybe revisiting this notion of having one cloud and how this is actually a strength versus, as some would consider it, a challenge. Because Google operates in nearly every country, in every jurisdiction in the world, different jurisdictions have different requirements. So in Europe, for example, they are by far leading the world in data privacy standards. We can meet the European requirements, which helps us as Americans and as Australians. In the US, believe it or not, we actually have the highest standard for data protection for medical records. We can meet that standard with our platform, and again, folks in Europe, folks in Asia also benefit from that. Maybe using Asia as an example, the highest standard for cryptography or for encryption actually comes from South Korea. We meet those standards with our platform, and we all benefit because of this. Now, These requirements are not static. Cloud services aren't static. As security threats evolve and change, as legal requirements and privacy frameworks also change, these are things that are in motion all the time, we need to evolve with it. And moving on to our platform is something where we have to comply not just in one jurisdiction or one group, we have to comply globally, and we can help you do that. Not just locally here in Australia, but if you operate outside of the region, we can help you meet those requirements. Because of the way that we operate, with our network, with our data centers, you don't have to pick a region where one group of users, the solution works well, but other places, not so much, right? We're a global company. We all work together. So with that, I'm going to close, and thank you very much for your time today. I think I'm between you guys and lunch. And with that, I'd like to welcome Renee back up to the stage.